Good evening and welcome to what we consider to be the greatest.
It's a decade with big hits. Digicel Rising Stars starts now.
Listen, let's introduce our judges.
How do you say goodbye?
One.
Yes, yeah. You sure?
Hi Terry, you've been like a sister, family member, just like Sharon is just my mother. Sad, but at the same time I'm happy for you because I know there is a whole big road out there and the future is bright and it's big.
Terri is the glue that keeps the things together, that keeps the show together. She's managed to just thread this entire thing for you in TV land in a nice way that you could sit in your homes and enjoy every single Sunday. I'm going to miss her.
You're a little tall, but I thought you loved me.
Remember one time I well broke it up and Terry, she's like, Janie, all right, I don't remember what I was going through, and she probably don't even remember, but she gave me some money at that time, and it just spoke to the kind of person that she was.
Bring back those nights when I held.
On audition days, when you sing louder, bigger, badder, more expansive than any contestant could possibly sing, nobody does it like you.
Wow. Terri, you're really leaving us?
You have been such a positive energy around the set, a great team member. Working with you has just been a lot of fun. You're very hardworking, you're extremely professional. And just thank you for what you've brought to the show over these years.
You have been such a blessing to work with. You were made for this. From a producer standpoint, everything that I write in the script, especially for the auditions, you do. You have rapped, you have sang, you have danced, you have jumped out of trees, you've done everything and you don't complain.
Terri-Karelle, you brought glamour and professional delivery to Rising Stars, and you'll be sorely missed. But if nothing else, you're leaving on a high. Hugs.
She's just a beautiful spirit, you know.
Hi Terri, thank you so much for the time that you spent with us. You're going to be greatly, greatly missed.
Enjoy working with you. Hope to see you again in the future. But all the best from the entire audio team. Love you, my darling.
It was a great pleasure working with you. Continue to inspire, continue to motivate.
And it was awesome working with you.
Enjoy.
All the best, my love.
Bye, Terri.
Love you.
Go be great.
Happiness and love.
All the best on your journey.
Big up yourself, yeah, my dear. Big up yourself.
Bye. Bye.
We are going to
Miss you. Good luck.
My carriage awaits. I'm Queen Terri and I'm out.
Terri-Karelle. Terri-Karelle.
You know you never call me Terri-Karelle, right?
I know,
okay.
I never. Terri, TK.
Much better.
Or Jamaican girl. My Jamaican girl.
Much better.
So we're here today just to get a peep into your brain. You dropped an announcement on everybody just a couple hours ago. And so we wanted to have this conversation so we can talk to find out why, first of all, that is going to be the million dollar question. And then just talk about your journey. What you've been up to, what your plans are, and then just how you are feeling. Because at the end of the day, we need to make sure that you are okay.
Thank you.
So for this interview, I kind of broke it up a little bit into what I consider TKR's three personalities, yes?
Whoa, this is news to me, okay.
But it is the three personalities as it relates to Digicel Rising Stars. So it's the Terri pre-Digicel Rising Stars, the first personality.
Okay.
The second personality is Terri during Digicel Rising Stars. And then the third is TKR post DRS.
I love that.
I
love that. I love that.
All right. So we're gonna dive into it.
Okay.
So the first question I have for you is, who was Terri before Rising Stars?
I feel as if Terri before Rising Stars is very similar to Terri during and after, because they're core parts of my personality that just doesn't change. I'm a go-getter. I'm a student at heart. So you put me in different areas and spaces. I'm not gonna back from challenges. I'm gonna try to find out how I can help, how I can jump in, how I can learn, how I can assist. But I do know that Terri-Karelle, before Digicel Rising Stars, didn't know, one, about media, didn't understand what media was. So yes, you grow up and you see people on TV, but you didn't have an understanding that you were in the presence or you were experiencing parts of media. Terri-Karelle, before Digicel Rising Stars, did not know that she had an ability to thrive
in the media.
Did not know that she had this talent, and certainly the Terri-Karelle before Digicel Rising Stars did not know of the opportunities that are so vast. Once you get your foot in, you get a good handle of what media is about and making it your own. I didn't realize just how vast the opportunities were in media.
So at that point, before you got into Digicel Rising Stars, what were Terri-Karelle's dreams or aspirations?
I was going to be a doc. Like I always tell people, I wasn't supposed to be in media according to my plan. I just wanted to be a veterinarian. That is what I wanted to do. That's what I pursued. That's why I did the subjects I did. That's why I got the scholarship. Because in my head, I was going to have my own veterinary clinic. I was going to have my own shelter for animals, and that was my dream. And so now, imagine media just kind of jumps in because accreditation in Jamaica, when I came back, they said we don't accredit students who study veterinary medicine in Cuba. And so the idea of where do I go from here, I stumbled upon media simply because people saw me and said, hey, Digicel Rising Stars is looking for a host and we think you should audition. And at first I wasn't interested.
I'm way all back.
Okay,
I don't
sorry.
go into my questions.
Sorry, sir.
So we're going to go back to the doctor of veterinary medicine for a little bit. And we're going to skip to maybe a future Terri now. Would you go back?
Absolutely not.
To veterinary medicine? No.
I wouldn't.
Why?
Because I think what I had planned for myself is fine according to my understanding, but I just think God had so much more for me. I think he had a bigger and better plan for me. And because I love where I am, I love what I have done in media. I love what media has done in me, through me, for me. I'll still love my animals, but I simply would not go back to veterinary medicine.
Okay. We hear you, and I appreciate that, but I also appreciate you being my best friend, because then you get to look after my dog whenever it is.
You're disgusting.
Whenever it is I have a problem. As a matter of fact, do know that I still have a video of you and Daddy when you were
at the house, at the family
when
house.
you were talking about diagnosing the dogs, and he was just listening intently to say
And I think it was the first time since leaving the whole world and the love of veterinary medicine that I even realized that there's still things that I absolutely remembered. But I wouldn't go back.
That was a good moment. But okay, so you just mentioned briefly about DRS. As I said, you were going into answering my question. I'm going to ask you, why did you try out to host DRS for that first time?
So I remember this was the year that Yendi Phillips left as host, and instead of Digicel Rising Stars just kind of selecting a host, they decided to do this national casting call. At the time, I was the general manager at Spartan Health Club, which was also just a pivot, just me learning since veterinary medicine never worked out for me. And Nadine Sutherland, who was one of the original judges
at the time,
of Digicel Rising Stars, she used to work out at Spartan. So I get this little ding dong. She steps in and she says, you know, they're having auditions. It's taking place at Knutsford Court Hotel, and I think you should go and try out. And I was like, yeah, no. But thank you, I appreciate it. And she actually did her workout. She left, but she came back and she said, you know, go. And it was Mr. James, who was my boss at the time, said, take the break, go to Knutsford Court Hotel. I didn't have any expectations. When I got there, I understood that people who were media practitioners, they went earlier on in the day. So, you know, you're sitting on asking yourself, like, what am I doing here? There's so many people. I think I chose ticket number 70 or 71, thereabout. And I'm asking myself, really and truly, what am I doing here? This is such a waste of time. But I sat and I took the entire lunchtime, and finally when I got my number called, I went in.
Okay. Where were you when you first heard? No, first of all, no, let's backtrack. When you went into the auditions, did they have to use a teleprompter?
Did we? You know, no. They gave us a piece of paper with just a line or 2 lines, and basically they would ask us to deliver it to camera. So in the room, you walk into this, it's a very small room. There was a desk, almost like you're walking into a job interview, and there were these people sitting down, maybe 4 persons, and then there was a cameraman in the corner. You didn't even see his face, and they just said, "Hi, how are you?" And I was like, "I'm tired and I'm hungry." And they were like, "Welcome, just deliver the lines." And so I remember just kind of having the paper as your only point of reference. I think what I thought we had to do was memorize it.
Yeah.
And I delivered straight to camera, and they said, "Okay, thank you, thanks for coming." And I walk out and I said, "Well, that's it." And I said, "I'm not really asking no questions, so it's not like they can see your personality necessarily." And I was just like, "All right, cool, let me go back to work." And that was it. I never thought anything beyond that.
Okay, so I want you to dig back into your brain now and tell me, where were you at the time when you were shortlisted, and what was going through your mind?
You know, I think I was still at the gym. I think I was still at Spartan Health Club at the desk, and an email came in, and it was, and I think I probably can still find that email right now, where it was coming in from Sharon Schroeter, who was the producer of the show. At the time, I didn't know who she was as one of the members at the interview, the table. And she just kind of said, you know, "Congratulations, we just want to advise you, to inform you that you are one of the 5. And I was just like, "No way." Because before, you're not thinking about anything. You just thought you'll just be lost amongst everyone else. But now that you're in the top 5, and they're telling us that they're going to later on tell us which location we would get to do the audition, that's when you start to wonder, or you start to realize, this is happening.
Is it. Yeah.
This is definitely happening.
Yeah. Okay, so in that moment, we're gonna fast track to, you got the call, you process it all, you call who you needed to call, and you tell everybody, or not, knowing you.
Knowing my personality.
You probably didn't in the moment. I want you to tell us, because a lot happened after that, but then you weren't able to complete that casting call season.
Yeah.
Tell us why. I don't think a lot of people know that you had to walk away, and the reason why you had to walk away.
This was 2010, you're right. This was 2010. Imagine, they have now given us our respective locations, and I was given Kingston to share with Lady Renee, because in 2010, I mean, you were talking about thousands of people showing up. And so what they did was they divided the Kingston audition between myself and Lady Renee, just to kind of manage the crowd control. So I would do it on Saturday, and then she would do it on the Sunday. Everything happens. I get my script, you know, we're doing this for the first time. We're meeting the people who are coming out. We have delivered, we have canned. And what Digicel Rising Stars plans on doing is giving each of us our vote number. So they would show the audition from Montego Bay, from Ocho Rios, from wherever, and then they would say to vote for X person, to vote for, so we would all be given our vote numbers. Except for the fact that Mickey Horton James, who is my boss, now comes to me and he says, "We need to have a talk." Because I was general manager of Spartan Health Club, that was not a problem, but it meant that I was automatically the pageant director for Miss Jamaica World. And at the time, we had started discussions with sponsors. And he told me that it's a possibility that Flo might come on as a sponsor. And I was just like, okay. And he said, "Well, you know, it's going to be a little bit difficult having this conversation, engaging them in sponsorship conversations as the potential host of Digicel Rising Stars." And I said, "Well, there's a possibility that I don't even get it." And he looked at me and he said,
Come on,
"No."
nah.
He said, "I think when Jamaica sees you in action, they're probably going to vote for you, and that's going to be a conflict of interest." And so even though I was excited about the prospect, I was excited about the possibilities, I just decided to take one for the team. And so I had to write an email to Sharon, thanking her, thanking the team for seeing something in me that I certainly never saw in myself, but informing them that because of what's going on, I would have to respectfully withdraw from the competition. So in 2010, even though I was shortlisted, I just could not go any further. And so Lady Renee actually got it in the year 2010.
Okay. And so in that year, 2010, you literally had to walk away.
I walked away.
From what could have been your potential dream.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I accepted it because I know that my God is an on-time God. And so for me, I was like, you brought me this, like veterinary medicine, you made me do veterinary medicine, and I didn't think you would leave me stranded, right? And no, I was just like, well, you put me through all of this only to let me withdraw. And I said, you're an on-time God, so I'm not gonna question you. At least I was able to experience something that gave me a little glimpse of what my potential was in media.
Yeah. And so now, 12 years later, you're actually walking away again. So this is now going to bring us to the present day, Terri.
Yes.
And I'm going to ask you to tell us, the people want to know, why is Terri-Karelle now, at this age, at this stage, you're at the top of your game, in my opinion, the best host there is.
Well, you're biased, but thank you.
Unapologetically. So,
thank you.
Why is TKR walking away from Rising Stars?
I think everyone must know when it's their time. I think generally speaking, people believe you have to walk away when you have something else planned. People assume you have to walk away when something is coming to an end, when something is dead. So it's like you might as well jump out. I think if you're gonna leave at a high. I think if you're gonna leave at a moment when you know you've delivered excellence, you've been consistent, and that you think you've given it your all. I don't think there's any more in me to give. And so when I had that very honest conversation, and it's okay to have honest conversations with yourself, I think it's okay to say, it's time. It's time to step back. It's time to step away. It's time to step down. It's time to pass the baton and have someone else take it and run with it and make it their own. And so it's been the biggest question. People have been asking, what is it that you're moving into? Like, no, this is my time to catch up on lost time. I don't think people realize that for 3 months in every year for 12 years, I have missed get-togethers, occasions, milestones, family. Yeah, I know. friend getaways. I've missed it all. And so now it's just my time of taking a pause, being very grateful for this journey, but also saying, it's okay. It's okay to walk away, but doing it on my term and doing it at the time that I thought was time. Okay.
So you spoke about, missing the family moments, the friend moments. I would have been privy to a lot of that. I also would have been privy to a lot of the calls and messages that you'd have gotten from Sharon when you're jumping off cliffs and off lighthouses, and Sharon is like, don't injure yourself. Should I show you your contract?
Correct, because that was not originally in the contract. So to backtrack, because I know people are like, well, you walked away in 2010, so what happened in 2011? So in 2011, imagine I get an email or a phone call saying, we would like to invite you to be the host of 2011. So imagine I walk away in 2010, Lady Renee hosted for that year, and I'm just like, well, maybe God had different plans, only to have this product come right back to me. And that's why we like to say, what is feel can't unfeel. So even if it's not in the time that you thought it would be, if it's really yours, it will come back. And I remember Natalie reaching out and saying, hey, we want to explore the possibility of inviting you as host to see if you're interested, to see if you'd be a good fit. And that's when the rest was history. So in 2011, I actually came on, not having to audition or to do anything, but actually just stepping into the role. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So talk to us a little bit about your support system, because you mentioned you would have had to have that with all of the things that you were missing out on. The family moments and jetting in from Montego Bay to be at Digicel Rising Stars. How was that for you in that time one, how did you manage that for 12 years? And what does support look like for you?
Right. And by the way, just to go back to what you had said about Sharon and the contracts, when I originally got my contract, it was, the typical contract.
Oh,
don't worry, your brain bad, but stay with me. Stay with me, and I bless you. And so imagine I signed this contract, and in between hosting for the first season, she sees me jumping off of the 40-foot cliff at Rick's Cafe. And so she messages me and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I jump off cliffs. I jump off lighthouses. This is what I do in my spare time. And she's like, okay, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna just amend this contract to kindly state that during the period of Digicel Rising Stars, don't go diving with sharks, swimming with whales, jumping off cliffs. You need to make sure you do not break your bone, your back, or your neck. And so, for the 12 years, I kind of just stayed away. Or when I did it, I just simply didn't post it. But that was just a part of the contract. But going back to your question, one, Naima, who's my daughter, I found out I was pregnant with her in my first season. All throughout auditions, I did not know I was pregnant. So for me, it was a very daunting time because I was now taking this leap of faith in this new career and just being an amateur, being a novice. And now I was going into a new phase of motherhood, which at the time, personally, I was not ready for. And I remember the week running into Digicel Rising Stars, I have my technical teleprompter run, and I go into the room with Sharon at TVJ, and I said, I have something to tell you. And I said, I remember choking up because I was nervous. I didn't know if it would mean you can't host. I didn't know. And I remember saying to Sharon, I found out I'm pregnant. I have absolutely no idea how I'm going to carry, how I'm going to feel, if I'll be sick, if I'll have to miss. I have no idea. And I said, and secondly, I want to carry this privately. I do not want it to become something that's in the media. I don't want people asking me about the gender, about the baby names. I want to treat this with the utmost privacy. And I want to handle my business as the new host as professionally as possible. She was the only person who knew. So every Sunday I was showing up and Naima was just kind of growing, just chilling. And so 12 years later, she grew up on the set. The year later, I show up with this bald-headed baby and everybody on the set is going,
where'd she come from?
Whose baby is this? And my mother is like, oh yeah, it's Terry's. And everybody's going, no, it's not. Because we saw Terri for like the 3 months and I'm like, yeah, it was her. And so the support system was amazing. My mom always came on set. Naima grew up on set. Having an amazing partner to help drop off and cover bases, and sometimes we do homework. This is as she's growing. Having friends like you, people who never made me feel guilty for missing weekends and missing moments. You guys never made me feel guilty. What you guys always did was you always asked, is everything okay? Do we need to pick up anything? Do we need to drop anything? And I think that makes a huge difference when you are not just starting out, but maintaining that level of support all the way through till the final night. You're in the audience, my partner is in the audience, my mom is in the audience, my daughter is in the audience. It's just a testament of how your circle will always be one of the most important things you'll ever have in your journey called life.
Well, I'm going to segue from my questions a little bit because there's a moment I remember. I don't know if you remember. But we were in the car going somewhere on one of our random journeys. This is when you were pregnant and nobody knew us yet. And I think it was on that road where, Oxford Road, I think it was. And in that moment, I think I remembered, I don't know what we're talking about. I think you turned to me as like, oh yeah, I'm pregnant. And I was just like, yeah, we didn't know.
People will never understand how private I am.
Yeah, and in that moment, I was like, yeah man, no worry, I didn't know, felt something was wrong, but I was just, as usual, waiting for people to allow us, give people time and grace for them to reveal in their own time. And that happened, I remember, yeah man, we got it locked, nobody no longer know. And we went through that entire season, and I will forever remember, Uzuri, forgive me, but this is what I call it, the Jonko dress.
The feather dress.
Yeah, but you know, I call it the Jonko dress.
Couture.
But I love
It's haute couture with feathers, okay?
It was one of my favorite looks, but my Jonko dress, and funny enough, we call each other Jonkros. But yeah, that final look, I remember it was a two-piece dress, and you came off the stage, and I remember literally the next day,
my belly just went poop. It literally went poop. Like Naima just kind of said, all right.
My turn.
My turn now. And my stomach just went, all right.
Yeah.
Cool. And even post Digicel Rising Stars in my first year, I just kept it very private because it was still me processing how I would now take on motherhood.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to skip over a couple of things and go back to Sharon.
Yes.
You mentioned her a while ago. Let's talk about Sharon.
Yeah.
Shar.
Auntie Shar.
Shar.
Yes.
Auntie Sharon.
Yes.
Mommy. God says mommy. What has your time been like with her? And what's she like as a leader? You know, you mentioned you going to her in a very vulnerable moment when you didn't know what to do, how to process, and you told her. First of all, you tell me what, you never know what was going to happen, but what was she like in that moment?
I think in that moment, if no one has ever met Sharon Schroeder, let me just tell you, she is absolutely nurturing. She's going to hold space for you, no matter how chaotic her day might be, because she's producing 3 million shows all at the same time. She's always going to nurture. She's always going to reinforce. She's always going to reassure you, to let you know everything is going to be okay. I am here to support you. Anything you need, we will facilitate you. And funny enough, that is who she is. So she is like that to production crew, supporting vocalists, makeup artists, glam squad, the contestants. Even if you make an error, Sharon is never going to make you feel like a failure. She's never gonna rub it in your face or remind you that you did. She's gonna come to you in the sweetest, nicest, most effective way and let you know, okay, so let's get the energy up. And that's not just me, whether she's speaking to the cameraman, whether sound was off or anything was off. She is a mentor, she is a leader. She knows how to mediate. She knows how to get the best results and outcomes out of people, whether they are interns, whether they are assistants, or whether they are at the top of their game. She knows how to come in and be the light and have everyone feel as if they can do it.
They matter.
And she's also the person who you can trust. And I think having someone who you can trust means that you feel comfortable knowing that you can go to her in your times of vulnerability, and you know she's not going to be the one to WhatsApp somebody, drop it in a group, or say, say. She's just not that type of person. And I think working with her was an immense pleasure because she never made me feel like I had to deliver like anyone else. It's like she said, oh, so this is Terry's personality. I'm going to write the script.
She fed into that.
I'm going to write the script, and because Terri is goofy, I'm going to make her do goofy things because she's going to pull it off. And there's no one else I could have asked for as a producer starting off in media, because I think she played a critical role in me deciding to love media and to stay in media.
And that's interesting because for a lot of us, we go through life. And when we meet people and that sort of thing, for you, it makes you grow into that space. But for a lot of us, it makes us no longer want to be in that space. So it's very interesting. You had a good time.
She nourishes and she nurtures. And I say that she's my forever producer. I work with many producers, but she will always be my forever producer who took a chance, because she really could have chosen a practitioner.
Yeah.
But she took a chance, and I'm so happy that she took a chance on me, and I'm happy that I took a chance on myself.
Okay. I know sometimes I joke around with it, and I would say that, in Digicel Rising Star, and this is my opinion.
Yes.
In Digicel Rising Star, I mean, for me, you are the star in Digicel Rising Star. I'm going to say right now, I think Digicel Rising Star has really more than one stars. And to be very honest, I think Sharon is also one of those stars.
Absolutely.
It's just based on what I would have gleaned from her, or even moments I would have spent in her space. I remember the time we were on the roadside, and Sharon pulled up. She was the same personality, so I concur.
And even my scripts. So something that people don't know is I'll get my script that I go into a technical run with, and she always writes something at the top of the script. It is something that she never forgets to do, and we'll always laugh about it. It's always our inside joke, and it's been something that I've looked forward to. So if Garth hands me my script and Sharon hasn't written on it yet, the script goes back. And for my final year, which was this year, I saved all the scripts. And on the final script, instead of it just being at the top, she wrote her message to me. And so we have our own little inside things that she does for me that I'm sure she will now cultivate and do with the new host.
Okay. We're not going to cry. It's not a...
No.
It's not,
I'm going to hold it.
A G.
Hold it.
You never hold it. Sunday night.
It was too emotional. I was trying to be all gangster. It just didn't work. That montage that she did was just...
All right. So we're going to fast track now. I'm not going to... This is what I really wanted to be cruel to you. And I was going to ask you your top 12. You've been here for 12 years. So what are your top 12 moments from DRS over the years, right? So I'm going to switch it up a little bit. And I'm going to ask you 12.
Wow. Thank you.
We're going to do some math, which you know I'm not good at.
Oh, jeez.
But we're going to use the 1 and the 2 out of the 12. We're going to add them together and get 3.
Okay.
So give me your top 3 most memorable moments over the years.
Is this with contestants I've met, or is this just general?
Just in general.
I think it was auditions. So auditions is always the show that everyone looks forward to, because that's when all the very unique
characters
and creative characters come out. They're always early, and they're always the ones who are most committed to their craft. Met the man who said he sounded like a bird. There was that man. I swear to God, we've met a lot of different persons, but I will round up number 1 as the different characters that I met. And I think number 2 most memorable moment, gee, that's so hard. Probably would be my first show. I think it's my first show at the Courtly Auditorium, standing in the center. My heart is beating through my chest, me wondering if I've bitten off more than I can chew, because I'm now realizing how big the show is. I think I underestimated how many people would be in the Courtly Auditorium, how many people would be watching, reminded that it's live TV, and having Sharon in my ear now do the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and understanding that this is it. This is your moment. Let it all go. That will probably be my number 1 memorable moment. Even though I named it as number 2, that's probably number 1.
So you give me 2. We need 1 more.
I cheated, so don't it? I think number 3 is Sharon putting me on rooftops in trees, telling me I'm gonna rap, I'm gonna sing, I'm gonna dance. And I don't think people understand that I don't ever know what Sharon is going to come with every single year or at every single location, but I think it's the fact that she trusts me and she knows that I'm never gonna take it too seriously, that I won't go up in a tree and deliver, a particular link, jumping on the back of a motorcycle, pretending that I'm teleporting through locations. That definitely fed into my creativity, and it's another way that Sharon and I spoke to each other. So I think that's definitely one.
Interesting. So maybe in a few we can pop up Terri-Karelle, the actress.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. I don't want anyone to get any ideas. Keep that idea to yourself. I'm not interested.
Oh God. I'm going to put you on the spot again. Who's your favorite Digicel Rising Stars judge?
Why on earth would you do this? Oh my God.
The people want to know.
So what I will say, of course, is the person who we look forward to seeing the attire is Conroy. So I'm always very excited to see the patterns, the colors, the combinations. And even though he sits behind a table, which I'm always going, I think they need to do like a full body cam, because to really see the shoes coming all the way up, I'm always very excited to see what Conroy is going to wear. For Elaine, I'm always excited when she comes into the makeup room, because Elaine is going to affirm me. She's going to say, Lord, girl, you're pretty, Lord, you look like light, you look like a darling, nobody look like you. This is before I'm even done. And then when I come out of the change room, she's going to say, Lord, God, look how she shines like a morning star. So her energy and positivity going into a show, no one does it like Elaine. And Anthony, interestingly, Alex thinks Anthony flirts with me and has a crush on me. Like that's what, because even though people see Anthony as the very sour judge, the very stern judge, very stoic, Anthony, whenever he sees me and interacts with me, he melts. He's always going to say, well, look at you, aren't you the star? Oh, look at those legs. Oh, look at that skin. And, you know, even while I am there, people in TV land don't see his interactions. He's always saying, I love. And that was always very, very positive, the way in which he did it. In fact, I remembered probably one of my most memorable moments when I asked him, you know, who do you think should get I can't remember if it's $1 million or the 1.5, and he said, your legs. And that was his answer. That's how he gave me my compliment. So I don't have one favorite judge, but I have things that I look for from each of them. Judge.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay, fair enough. So I won't put you on the spot. Very good answer.
Truth. That's the truth.
Very good answer.
The top 3 is in top form tonight. Digicel Rising Stars starts now.
Just to wrap up, TKR in the present, this is still during DRS. How does it feel to know that you came into this chapter not knowing anything about media, and now you're leaving, to me, as one of the best media personalities in the game, most sought after, and now being awarded globally in the media category? How you wrap your head around that?
I can't. It's still very surreal. In fact, I think one of the most disappointing things for me, having stepped away or announcing that I'm leaving Digicel Rising Stars in 2023, is that I would not get the opportunity to host the finals, which would be the first time ever. And the only reason why is because of this award that I'm receiving. So you can't even imagine how I felt when I got an email stating that for the global top 100 most influential people of African descent in the category of media and culture, I would be awarded. I am an honoree, not a nomination, but them saying, you have been selected. And you're thinking about the billions of people who are practitioners across so many different industries and thinking, how did I get here? And then seeing not only my name and my face, but my flag.
Country,
And I go, my God, you are an awesome God. And you see things way down the line. In fact, you knew me before I was even formed. And that you made no mistakes. And it was just for me to be committed and for me to honor the role, even if it may have been small. Honor the role every single season, no matter how long you're doing it, because it is all coming and accumulating and it's all compounding to this one moment. And so for me, it is humbling. It is a privilege. It is an honor that people outside of Jamaica would see it fit to say, you, yeah man, something about you and how you've done what you've done. We want to honor you on a global level. So even though I'm not going to be able to announce Digicel Rising Star 2023 winner is, you know, I'll be hearing someone else say this year's honoree in the category of so-and-so from Jamaica is, and I don't always get the opportunity because I'm always announcing winners. I don't really get to experience what it's like to hear my name announced as a winner in a category. So I'm gonna soak it all up. I'm grateful and I'm excited to see where God will lead me, where He'll put me.
Okay. Okay, somewhere. Thanks for that. I know a lot of us, we're rooting for you. Some of us are going to be in the audience. You know, flying that flag high just the same, seeing you shine out there, because we know at the end of the day, I know you don't take it for granted, the moniker that you have, or Jamaican girl, neither do I. And so we're going to go to New York knowing full well that it's really about Jamaica first.
Correct.
And we're going to fly that flag so
Extremely high. Absolutely.
Ready. Okay, so moving now out of Terri-Karelle doing Rising Stars, we're looking to the future, right? And what's going to happen. So let's talk about what's next.
I don't know.
You couldn't wait till me done.
I don't know, because I know I'm sitting on there going, you're gonna ask me the question that everybody always asks me, and they always get the I don't know, and I know it's gonna leave people going, what? Because people really have been asking me why, like, so what are you going to like? What? Don't know. I don't know.
You know, that has been your answer for a lot of things in your life. Yes.
Right. It's just that when I do, or when Holy Spirit say move, or God say, all right, promotion, acceleration, execution, I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna say, by the way, guys, this is what I'm doing. But no, I just stepped away because it was time.
Okay. Let's think back now. Let's talk about 2023. Let's think back and think about the big wins of 2023 for you. Could you list out some of those big wins for me? And
wow, that's what you're doing.
That's what I'm doing.
Big wins. I landed the cover of Caribbean Beat, which is the in-flight magazine for Caribbean Airlines, which was just...
Yeah, we're not going to talk about how I had to go on to get those magazine covers either. But yeah,
that was unexpected, and that was amazing. And again, that was somebody in an office outside of Jamaica. I believe, and I want to be very careful how I say this, because Jamaica has shown me love during Digicel Rising Stars. I mean, there's no place, nook or cranny that I have gone and people don't say, Terri-Karelle Rising Star. You've experienced it. The hugs, the kisses, the love, the debates, who win, who go home, what the judges said, what I wore, what outfit they like. But funny enough, my biggest wins came from initiatives of people who are not Jamaican and outside of Jamaica. So for example, the Caribbean Airlines, that magazine, that was a big win for me. I celebrated 1 year, the first year anniversary of my book, My Brand Compass. And on the anniversary of that, I launched my audiobook.
Yes.
One Flair's Distinguished Women in the category of media
and communications.
And I relaunched my podcast, Redirection with Terri-Karelle. So, I mean, that's what I can remember off the top of my head. And I'm just very, very happy.
B3 was this year, 2023?
I think that was last year.
It was 2022.
I think it was 2022.
I just remember that hairstyle.
Yeah, I think it was 2022.
You and I just remember that hairstyle.
I think it was 2022, okay. But thank you.
Okay, really right. So, you stepped away officially. No, you welcome on the same night the new host, Talia, which we're all familiar with.
Yes.
What advice do you have, or did you have, that you would have imparted to her?
So one, I'm happy for her. Like, congratulations. She came in the same way in terms of media, because she is the host of Intense, and it was a casting call.
Yeah.
That's how Sharon found Talia and Ashley. And what I found, what she comes into Digicel Rising Stars with is way more experience, because we've seen her grow on Intense, Fame Frequency, as well as Smile Jamaica.
Yeah.
So she's coming in with a wealth of knowledge and experience and expertise. Number two, I also think she's going to do a fantastic job, even with this change. We know people don't like change. We know that I've been hosting for 12 years. But the reason why I think that this transition will be seamless is because Jamaica knows her.
Sure.
I think people reject change when they don't know what they're getting. There's an uncertainty. But I think because they see her, they know her, they're familiar with her work, it's it's Talia. And so my advice to her when she saw me in the makeup room and I told her congratulations and I hugged her, and she says, I have big shoes to fill, T. Terry, I have big shoes to fill. And I stopped her right there and I said, you don't. I said, you don't have big shoes to fill. You have no shoes to fill because you will be walking in your own shoes. You will be creating your own path. You are carving out your own space and you are going to deliver the way only you can deliver. So there is absolutely no comparison, no competition, and no shoes to fill because you are wearing your own. That was my advice in the makeup room. That was my advice to her on the stage. And that was my advice even in post-production. She is going to do a fantastic job. And I told her, I am a phone call, WhatsApp, Telegram, away.
Instagram DM.
I am accessible to her. So if she has any questions, any concerns from a host standpoint or how to deal with whatever might come her way, I will always be a big sister to Tal. I was a big sister long before this opportunity ever came. So she knows that she has that in me.
What do you want your legacy to be?
I think I want when people think of me that they'll always see someone who was a consummate professional, who never took opportunities for granted, who no matter how long she's been doing something, I still go in, I look at the details, I ask my questions, I add my value, I respect people's time, I'm respectful to everyone who I come into contact with. I want to be remembered as someone who never tried to be like, act like, do like, but to always shine my own light. I think I want to be remembered as someone who truly showed love, even if it was not required of me, but just to be in the presence of someone and to share and to spread that kind of love. I just want a legacy of excellence and authenticity, and commitment and dedication. That whether it's media, whether I go into a 9 to 5 that looks completely different, I just want to be known as that person who honored any role she was given and always took a chance on betting on herself and following through with the bet.
And can I say, looking back, I think that that's something that you have accomplished already. And I say why I say that. When I look back, and now flipping back at the montage that Sharon did for DRS, a lot of the things that you said a while ago were the same sentiments that the people had. I remember very vividly Jane and what Jane said about it in that moment.
I did not remember.
In that moment, yes. It spoke to the level of, just authenticity, love and care that you have without even knowing, like not for sure. So I see that to say that the legacy that you're hoping to leave, I for one think that is something that you have started already.
Thank you. Thank you. And I think if anybody is interested in being a host or being in front of camera, because that's the recognizable face, you become the brand, you become popular. I think we must never lose sight on the fact that it's never about popularity, but it's about being purposeful. I think it's always remembering that everybody who you work with plays a very integral role, and they're a part of a value chain. And if somebody does not show up to do the job, it affects how you do the job. So don't you ever come in and think that you are going to undermine anybody simply because you are in front of the camera. And lastly, I would probably say, it's never about you. I think servant leadership is probably one of the best types of leadership you'll ever come across. When you keep yourself grounded, understanding that it's not about you, but the impact that you can have by serving others. I think the impact and the influence, they come naturally and they're way bigger than you just saying, it's me. And everything centers around me. And I think that is what helped me to carry the torch for Digicel Rising Stars for 12 years without it ever feeling burdensome, because it was never about me. It was about me facilitating conversations between the judges, having my audience understand what's going on, engaging everybody, and reaching out to contestants who never got a good feedback, or social media was horrible to, or cracking on a stage and me hugging them up and saying, don't worry about it. good job. You look great. Because again, it's really never about me.
And just a segue on that topic. Looking on, what do you can tell me maybe we're gonna keep it on the top 3. The top 3 misconceptions or myths that are within the media landscape or as a host.
I think that a lot of persons who are watching, and I get it, you know, you're in the comfort of your home, you're in the barbershop, you're in a salon, wherever, it looks very easy. People assume that hosting any show is easy, and it's not. What a lot of people don't know is that I'm on a stage I'm talking about many feet away from a very small prompter. There are lights hitting me from the back, there are lights hitting me from the front. Sometimes the reflection of the lights actually distort sometimes the words that are on the prompter. There's the fog machine that comes out all the time, and what people don't see is between the breaks I am trying to fan the fog out of because that also creates a haze and a smoke in front of my prompter. And even for live studio, there is audience talking, the judges are talking, sometimes the supporting vocalists are talking, Sharon is talking in my ears. There are lots of things that are happening. So when you see someone on a mic hosting, especially if it's a live show, and they come across as very calm and composed, there are 3,000,001 things happening, and a lot of people assume that you just get up and it's a sterile environment, and a lot of the times it isn't. A misconception, it goes back to what I said earlier, is that, you know, you're the star. You're not the star. Maybe we're the star for you, maybe if we're your favorite personality, but it actually is the people who work behind the scenes, the technicians, the teleprompter, my teleprompter technician who learns my pace. The technician who now understands, wait, Terri has slowed down, maybe something is going on with the prompter. That's a skill and an art that people will never appreciate because all they see is me. And finally, the last myth, I think for anyone is just taking it for granted that, you know, because you come, you don't have to rehearse. I rehearse every single Sunday. I have never once come in, dropped my bag and said, yeah, let me just go to makeup. Never. I have rehearsed every single Sunday. I come in for my call time.
Even en route.
Even en route. I ask my questions. I say, hey, Shar, I noticed this, or, oh, you want me to say this, or, wait, I never remember this. It is important for you to always be prepared for the job that you have, even if you already feel comfortable in it. Be prepared.
Okay. So, a very interesting thought occurred to me while I was preparing to this interview. Looking into this space, I see that there are a lot more persons who are now going into the field of hosting. A lot more people wanting to do and embracing communication at its core for what it is. What do you say is the reason for the shift? And would you say that you have contributed in any way to that shift in the narrative?
To answer your second question first, I would solemnly hope, humbly hope that the way I present, and there's some people who know me as just a TV host, and there are many others who know me as an event host. I would hope that how I have presented myself over the years, how I do what I do, the commitment, the dedication, the preparation, the research that I put into everything that I do, I hope it would excite and stimulate others to say, I want to do that. I think the reason why we see a lot more people shifting and probably being excited is because they're now seeing the possibilities. I use my platform and I share, and they see the places that I get to go to, the events I get to host, the countries I get to visit, the rooms I walk into, the dignitaries and the thought leaders, the global thought leaders I get to interview, moderate, introduce. And so you realize that media and communication is no longer based on your perception in Jamaica, in this little space, doing this particular thing, but that the doors that it opens is regional, it is international, and that all comes down to how it is you care your brand. It is not okay for you to just look the part, but you have to be the part. And I think that is why we see a lot of people entering the space, because they see the possibilities.
Okay. My final question to you, and hearing you say that now. So I'm a fan of the podcast, yes? And I've been a part of the journey, both on air and off air. So I've been waiting to ask this question. What does redirection mean to you? And how has your life's redirection prepared you for the next step in your journey?
I can't believe you just used back my own question on me.
I did.
Redirection is understanding and accepting that life is not going to go according to how you think it is. It's not going to be packaged, especially when it comes to opportunities. They're not always going to be packaged the way you think they should be. Your plan is not always going to be the best one or the best outcome. Redirection is shifting gears, shifting atmospheres, shifting mindset, shifting how you even view yourself and the roles that could possibly come, and understanding that even if you may not think you are qualified for it, you may very well be the person called and necessary for that job. And now it is for you to embrace it, approach it openly, learn, ask questions, and not be afraid to dive in really deep, because it's only there that you're going to discover and explore not just your potential, but really and truly what you are purposed for.
Okay.
That's my answer.
Nice, deep, well said, Terry. Thank you so much for sitting with me. I mean, we're not in the redirection seat, but most certainly. Thanks for joining me and to have this very candid, frank conversation, and just to let people in, which is not something you do very often. Letting people into your world, into your mind, into how things work, and into your next steps, albeit you don't know.
Correct.
But I think I can speak not only for myself, but for others to say that we wait with bated breath to see what life will unfold for you. And we'll be there cheering you on 100% step of the way.
Thank you.
Because you're our Jamaican girl.
Thank you.
And we love you and we appreciate you.
I appreciate that. And I just want to say, I mean, I have to thank God. Like, He's my Alpha, my Omega, and I'm going to say it all the time, because what He has planned for me is way bigger, way better, and His time is always going to be the best time. And if it wasn't for Him covering me and planning everything down, even my pregnancy, I would not be here. I want to thank my family and my friends for being my biggest cheerleaders, my biggest supporters, who continuously pray over me and support me. I want to thank Sharon, my producer, and my amazing production team who made my journey such a healthy environment, because that's why I was able to thrive. And last but certainly not least, Jamaica. I could not have embraced this role and stepped into this role and honed and owned this craft and this power if Jamaica never gave me room to do so. So for every word of kindness, every encouragement, every Terry, you know, say you may look for on my Sunday, Terry, and nice, you know. People will never understand that I never took for granted any micro or macro interaction. And even though I've left the show, them can continue to hug me, kiss me, debate about who is their favorite and who go home. I'm just really grateful and honored that they allowed me to come into their homes every Sunday for the past 12 years during the season. Thanks everyone.
A long time, that, you know.
It's a long time.
Yeah, old.
My old bad. Generations have come and generations have gone. So I just want to say thanks. And thanks, Garfene, for just facilitating this conversation. People see me every Sunday, but they don't necessarily understand, you know, just the growth and the journey and the lessons that I have learned. So I appreciate it. And I look forward to what God has in store for me next.
Me too. Ladies and gentlemen, Oprah, Gail, we're signing off.
Thanks, guys, and all the best, Talia. You got this. All the best, Sharon. I love you guys.
Bye, Tal. Bye, Shar.
My forever producer, Sharon Schroeder, I love you. I will miss you all. Join us next Sunday at 8 p.m. when you'll find out who will be the 2023 Digicel Rising Star for the final time. I'm your host, Terri-Karelle. Jamaica, thank you so much. Enough love, blessings. Take care.